Hello, city and regional planning researchers. It's Jesse Vestermark again, your CAED librarian. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to use Kennedy Library's Google Scholar link to get started on your CRP research. Um, and I say Kennedy Library's Google Scholar link because I want you to use these specific links that we provide rather than just going to Google Scholar on the open web, which is a thing. Um, if you use our links, they will be populated with additional, in our link to Google Scholar, it'll be populated with additional links that will get you behind the paywall to stuff that we've already paid for. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. I'm going to share my screen here show you how to get to the Google Scholar link in the first place. Okay, so here we are on the Kennedy Library homepage, and we consider Google Scholar to be one of the databases that we provide. So Dead Center on the homepage, our database list right under the OneSearch icon. Click on databases, gives me a list of the 281 databases that Kennedy Library provides on your behalf or on behalf for all our disciplines at Cal Poly. These are kind of like databases. It's kind of like subscribing to streaming services, except that we have 281 of them. Um, the quickest way I know to get there is to just go to G and scroll down to the Google Scholar link. So again, this link will get me eventually different links that will add that get me behind the paywall. I can also get there by going to research guides on the Kennedy Library homepage, just a couple links over research guides. And and then I can scroll to my city and regional planning research guide, the planner's toolkit, if you recall from an earlier video. And here we are. And right there on the homepage, I've linked OneSearch and then Google Scholar. Okay, so this adds a little bit more information about Google Scholar, some of which I'll be covering in this video. And then the link goes to a very Google-like page, just with the word scholar after it. So Google Scholar searches scholarly information, mostly articles, but also ebooks and book chapters, or the books that have been, or those that have been digitized. Okay, so I'm going to get started with a very general topic and then show you how I would narrow down my search if I'm getting too many results. So I'm going to start with environmental justice. And the first thing I'm going to look at is how many results I get. So I get almost 3 million results, way too many. How do I know how relevant they are to what I really want? So there's some things I can do to narrow down my search. For one, I can get rid of the citations. That'll knock it down a little bit. And another thing I can do, a really important thing, is if I put quotes around the two words, it'll attach them as a phrase and search just where the phrase environmental justice is, rather than the two words separate, environmental one place and justice in another place. Now I'm down to 413,000 results, so that I'm getting better. This is really important. What Google does have an advanced search, but they hide it over here in the upper left with these three bars, or what sometimes I've heard called the hamburger. If I click on that, it opens up some options and I can choose advanced search. Now I can narrow it down. You can see it already knows that I want the exact phrase environmental justice. I can add words. I can tell it words I don't want to use. The thing I'm going to choose here is search the phrase environmental justice in the title of the articles I'm looking for, not just anywhere in the article. So let's see how far that gets me down. Down to about 9,430. Okay, good. Another way, of course, is to look at the most current research. So let's say I only want to see the stuff that's published since 2024. I will click on that, and now I'm down to 662 results. Okay, so basically I can click on the links of what I find. If those links don't work, I can try these Get It at Cal Poly links. Those are the links that will get you into our OneSearch tool and ask you to log in. Specifically, if you don't see any links like that, occasionally they don't appear, but Google will hide them. And I'm looking for an example here. Here's one. Environmental justice for today's students. Okay, no links to the right, but if I click on these little chevrons, I get the Get It at Cal Poly link. Now, because I didn't see any links to the right, it just probably means we didn't prepay for that article. But there is a fail-safe where you don't have to pay for it still. Okay, so we offer this option to check for an open access version. That would be a free version on the open web. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it just gives us an extract from the article, but it doesn't have the whole article there. So that's no good. But we do offer that as a more instantaneous option. If I'm not seeing that, what I need to do first, if I'm not seeing any other options, is I need to remember to sign in. Now I know I'm not signed in because if I look in the upper right, it says sign in. So I'm going to sign into my OneSearch account using my Cal Poly username and ID, just like if I was searching in OneSearch. That puts my name up in the upper corner. I can pin stuff to save it for later. And now when I scroll down, I get an interlibrary loan option. So what this means is that we haven't paid for this article, but somebody else will trade with somebody else and we'll get it for you. This is a free service that we offer. It does not instantaneous. So what I would do is click on the get it button. And as you can see in our text, it can take up to 24 hours. Occasionally, if something's really obscure, it can take a little longer. Most often though, it takes much less than 24 hours, sometimes just a few hours, or if you're doing it in the day, like by the evening. Um, so it populates with my email, and all I'd have to do is hit send, and when it comes in, when we get it, I'll get a downloadable link in my email, or a link that gets me to a downloadable link. So that is something I want you to know that we have on offer. Okay, so back to my Google Scholar uh, results. Oops. Okay. And I'm going to try my search again, go to that all in title code, narrow down my results again. Since 2024, I got my 662 results, still kind of a lot though. So the only option I have to really narrow it down at this point is that I can add a more specific term up in the top. In this case, as you can see, I practiced adding California, and that gets me down to a very small manageable number of results, 10. And so sometimes I'll get a direct link to that article and I can just click on it and the article appears. And occasionally it will take me, in the case of like, say, this environmental health assessment, it will take me to one of the services that we pay for. And there's the article as well. And so that's how to use Google Scholar. And I hope that you found this video helpful.